Smith, and I am the Alumni Engagement Coordinator here at the university. And we're delighted to bring to you our Alumni Panel. We're thrilled. We've got two alumni who are joining us today, and we're just going to have an opportunity to connect with them. They're going to share their experience on their journey to RRU and beyond. And we're just delighted to be here. And of course, I'm joined by Mehgan, whom, for those that were joining us just in the previous session, Mehgan was our MC. And we also have my other colleague, Felix. Felix is our international engagement coordinator as well. So Felix is joining us today. So if I may, Mehgan, are you able to share our screen for the land acknowledgement? Oh, and I guess we should also do housekeeping as well. So I'm sure by now, most people are very familiar, of course, with Zoom. And so if you guys have questions, we certainly would just encourage you to share that in the chat box. Certainly following our presentation, there'll be an opportunity for you to pose your questions to our panelists. And so just simply put that in the chat and we'll be able to get to respond back to that. And then also please feel free to share those reactions as well. If you're excited, thumbs up, thumbs down, we would encourage you to do so. We love interactive behavior. And so just to take a moment, I just would like to acknowledge our traditional lands in which Rural Roads sits on. And so Rural Roads acknowledges that the campus is located on the traditional lands of the Kosopson and the Lekwungen families and ancestors. And it is with gratitude now that we learn, we work here, where the past and present future of Indigenous and non-Indigenous students, faculty and staff come together. Haichka. Thanks very much, Mehgan. And so here we are for our alumni panel. So if I may, I've got some of our panelists here. I see Ben Morgan, who's one of our panelists. So Ben, if you want to unmute yourself and show your face, please.
Here it is.
Ah, there he is. And we also have Enya joining us from. Hi, Enya.
Hi, good afternoon, good morning, depends on where you are. Good day.
I know, exactly. It's here. We're of course in Victoria, but you're right. Some people joining on the call actually are overseas, India and so on. So we're thrilled that you guys could make it and join us.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Jen, too, for that. And Enya, lovely to see you. And Ben, nice to see you as well. Lovely as well. Not just nice, lovely. Thank you to both of you. And Felix, I'm really glad that you're here as well as a graduate of our Master of Arts in Global Management program. Enya is a graduate of our Master of Arts in Higher Education Administration and Leadership. And Ben is a graduate of our Master of Arts in Professional Communication, correct?
Correct.
Whew, hallelujah, because I didn't have that written down. But that just tells you that we know them and we appreciate them. So our goal today in this session is Jen and I are going to tag team and ask you some questions and just really have you share a little bit about your background and what led you to Rural Roads. So Jen, if you want to start with our first question for our panel.
Yeah, for sure. So just kind of to kick it off, you're welcome. Why don't we start with you, Enya? You're first on my screen. So if you wanted to share your name, the program that you took, and where you are now.
Sounds good. My name is Enya Ren. I am in Burnaby right now today. I like Mehgan mentioned, I graduated from the Mahil program in 2019, actually. It took me 3 years to finish the program. I took a break in between, so I started in 2016. Did I cover everything? Sorry. What else should I share again?
Yeah. And what are you doing today? What are you doing now as a result?
Yes. So currently I work at Douglas College as the executive assistant to the vice president in charge of education and strategic partnerships.
Wonderful.
That's great. And for those who may or may not know what MHIL stands for, so MHIL is our Master of Arts in Higher Education, Administration, and Leadership. So at RRU, we tend to love our short acronyms. So that's what MHIL stands for. So thanks, Enya. Now, Ben, I'm going to kick it over to you. Welcome.
Well, thanks. Nice to see you guys.
You too.
Yay. I really miss our in-person alumni events. And so if we have to do this by Zoom, happy to be here. I am a graduate of the MA of Professional Communications. And I finished that in 2013. And of course, because I'm a communicator, I can't just show up and not throw up some slides to go along with my talk. So I'm MAPC as your short language. I'm a MAPC grad, which is a Master of Arts of Professional Communications. And I have just a couple things I want to say. So number one, life-changing. I actually challenge people that ask me about Royal Roads and this slogan, and you're gonna maybe not be so thrilled that I'm gonna challenge life-changing. I would like to see inspiring life change, because it's not actually the university that changes your life, but the university inspires you and gives you the tools to change your life. And so when people ask me about, should I do Royal Roads? I'll tell them, do it because you want to do something for yourself, because you want to have that accomplishment. But don't think you need to go get a master's degree because you want that job. If you want to change your life and you want to create opportunity and inspire your life, then do it. And it's a great place to do it, because I matter. And I can only speak to my experience at Royal Roads, and I did have you matter. And I'm sure you do, but I can only speak to my experience. And one of the things I love most about Royal Roads is that I feel and I felt when I was doing my program that I matter. And there's a lot of different reasons for that. And then the last thing I just want to say is life relationship. I firmly believe that I have a life relationship now with Royal Roads University, and the relationship that I created and nurtured in my program. And I would probably say that's one of the most powerful things about the Royal Roads program and how it's set up, is the relationships that you can, that you can use to inspire life change.
Awesome. You know, it's interesting that you say that, Ben, because life.changing. I worked with the marketing team when we were going through a brand reimagining of this brand, and was involved in working with the alumni, who are the ones that helped us land on life.changing. I think our marketing team originally had life.changing. Because we didn't want to say that Royal Roads is what makes life changing, right? That, just like what you just said.
Yeah, it's up to you.
Well, but the alumni said, take the other dot off, because it's not done after you finish grad. It just keeps going. And this just is that kind of pinnacle point. So thank you for that. We're going to come over to you, Felix, and have you share who you are, where you are, and how you got into the Master of Art in Global Management. Sorry.
Thank you, Mehgan. Sure. So hi, everyone. My name is Felix Gao, and I graduated from MGN programs in 2013. So after my graduation for my bachelor degree, I was thinking for studying abroad for this opportunity. So then my friends in Vancouver, they recommended me, say, Royal Roads University, located in beautiful Victoria. And I was thinking to pick a small city instead of a big one, because I live in Shanghai, one of the biggest city in China, for almost 20 years. So I think Victoria is nice, quiet, and beautiful, can help me focusing on study. So that's one of the reasons. Also, I would like the program, the setup for the cohort study model. This is the most important part to attract me. For my cohort, we have students from 28 students from about 15 different countries. So after your graduation, you have friends all around the world. This is something, it's the most important takeaway for you. And the culture, equip you with the culture sense to understand other cultures. Also, people from different backgrounds, different cultures can help you to create your team sense. And yeah, most of this all is kind of like things I enjoy studying Royal Roads. And then after my graduation, I was lucky, I found an internship in the office of international. And I also worked for the president office for a couple of years as the international project coordinator. Then I was lucky to join the Alumni Relations Team with Mehgan and Jen. And now together we are here to helping our alumni to serve, to provide better service to our alumni.
Thank you so much for that, Felix. So now we're going to focus with Enya and Ben and your experiences in the program. And I'm going to ask all of you who are joining us today, I know that I've asked you previously this morning, but for the benefit of our alumni here today, will you put in the chat where you're joining us from? Now, it's my experience in the last, many years of being at Royal Roads. I joined Royal Roads shortly after graduating in 2003. So just put in the chat where you're joining us from. And over those years of being here, I've never found an alum or a prospective student that we couldn't match up, because we have alumni in all of your cities. So wherever you are joining us from today, we have alumni there. And our alumni have just done miraculous work in connecting you. So look, we've got St. Albert, Calgary. Look, Ben's in Calgary. What do you know? Oyen from Saskatoon, Mexico, India, Nairobi, Kenya, Salt Spring Island, hello again, and Peru, Nova Scotia. So we have alumni around the world and close to you. So if you want to connect to alumni, there's opportunities to do that too by reaching out to our admissions and enrollment services team that you've met today. One of the things Jen and I wanted to ask our alumni was, you had your preconceived notions of what it was going to be like coming to Royal Roads and going back to school. Ben, why don't we start with you? What were those preconceived notions and how did they change when you arrived here?
Well, I was scared to death. I don't want to date myself. I decided to do this when I was 14 years old.
Oh,
yeah, of course. No, I really didn't know what to expect. And actually that was probably one of my biggest challenges was, so I did the master's degree in professional communications. I grew up professionally as a paramedic. I spent 16 years riding the ambulance, doing medical stuff. And up to that point, my whole adult education was medically focused, which was memorization and regurgitation, right? So what's the dosage of lidocaine? 1.5 milligrams per kilograms. What are the indications? And recite them and regurgitate. And so it was a real challenge for me. So I just blocked my dog out here. It was a real challenge for me to come into graduate studies where you weren't supposed to study and regurgitate. I actually had an idea and I could express my idea and I could say, I don't agree with that. And it was a real challenge for me because I would get the required readings and I would try to study them. And it was causing me a lot of grief. And it was my cohort, my colleagues that brought me along on the journey to help me make that shift from years of medical studies to just this idea and this notion of you don't have to memorize, you just have to read and come up with an idea and express that idea and share it in a meaningful way. So that was probably my biggest hurdle. The other thing I'll say too is it can be a little daunting when you're reading through a course description and seeing how many hours a week you might be putting into a program. And I know some of the programs are a little heavier than others. And looking at that number, thinking I have a full-time job, I have a family, I have this, I have that. I know that can be a little bit of a push, but you can make it work for whatever schedule fits for you. If it says 20 hours a week, you can probably get away with 10 hours a week, not to, but you will get out of it as much as you put into it. And if for me, I could only put in half the time, that maybe somebody else in my class was putting in. And I was starting to feel, maybe I'm not doing such a good job, but here I am now, right? Like I didn't graduate with an A, and now I'm faculty at the school, right? Like I'm teaching now at the school, and I'm not the one in my class that had the A+ out of it, because that's who the school is, right? Finding value in who you are and what you do with it. And so I kind of found those things a little daunting, the idea of how much time and how to balance that time. And I'll just say this too, the course that I teach at Royal Roads, I come at it and I say, hey, I get where you guys are at. I did the same thing you're doing. 7 years ago. So don't be afraid to email me and say, I'm having a struggle and can you pick me up? Because that's my job, is to pick you up.
Oh, love it. Love it. Enya, over to you on that same question. And maybe you can talk from this whole imposter syndrome, because you kind of alluded to that, Ben, that there's this imposter syndrome that we hear about, that someone's going to find out, oh, you don't have as much experience as the person next to you, or, oh, you have way higher grades, or you don't have enough grades, or whatever it might be. Did you experience that, Enya, and how did you overcome your preconceived notions?
I have so much to tell you about the imposter syndrome. So I forgot to mention how I decided to take this program at the beginning. I was a former international student. Originally, I'm from China. I volunteered a lot as student leader, student ambassador during undergrad years. I think that's when the seed was planted, because I just enjoyed working with international students. Learn about different cultures, I decided to, I want to get more knowledge, and I want to build a career in this field. So actually, when I was in undergrad, I was talking to I did a case competition in Royal Rose University, and my coach, so we went in person, of course, back then. It was beautiful. And then my coach was telling me that, Royal Rose has really good master program. And then somehow I just remembered it. And back then I didn't think that I want to do a master, right? And then I think after I graduated, I started researching. I was like, I need more knowledge. I was already working in post-secondary. I needed more knowledge, and I started researching master program. And then I remembered my coach told me about Rose University's program. So, by only reading the course outline or the titles of the courses that you want to take, you don't know exactly what's in them. It's a package. So I actually, like all of you, I attended an info session, and I talked to alumni. I want to hear directly their personal experience, so I know what to prepare, how to prepare myself. And so, talking to the imposter syndrome, English is my second language. I've always even now today, I'm talking to you, I'm still thinking, okay, am I talking grammatically correctly with you? But I would say all those years taking this program, having been working in this sector for 8+ years, definitely have helped me to fight the imposter syndromes. I think it's just something that everyone has. You just have to learn how to deal with it. So talking about the program, when I first started, I remember in my cohort, I was the youngest one in the cohort, and I was the second, I would say, international students, even I already had my PR, permanent resident status. So I was afraid to speak up, because I only had maybe 2 to 3 years experience in this field. So I feel that I don't have that much to contribute. I feel everything I know, people already know. I feel things that I want to share, it's not value added. I'm not contributing any new ideas, new concepts. So I stayed really quiet until I remember during the first residency, we did our program head, Tamara, super supportive program head. I don't know if she's still the program head for this program. You don't want to miss her. She's amazing. Anyway, so we were doing this team exercise outside, and she asked all of us, I think we had 20 plus people, maybe close to 20, I can't remember. So the activity is we were all blindfolded. We couldn't see, and she asked us we were timed in maybe, I don't know, 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, asked the group, the whole cohort, to form as a square. And then, of course, it's a team building exercise pretty much. And then, everyone started talking, brainstorming, and we can't really see each other, and people are moving, walking all over the place. And then I had this idea. Again, imposter syndrome came to me, like, should I speak up? Or I started self-doubting, but then I just went for it. I said, I have an idea. I yelled, I was quiet. So even I yelled, because lacking, self-confidence, not everybody heard me. And I remember my the person next to me, he helped me. He said, "Hey, Enya has idea. Can we listen to her?" You know. And then I said, you know, we have this many people. We can count from 1 to 6, and then we will have even number to form a square. Anyway, so at the end, my idea worked, and we were successfully, you know, formed a square within the time we were given. And that really helped me with my confidence. And also it taught me a lesson, which is to form allyship. You need people, whether that's, you know, from your life or from work, from your cohort. You need to find people that trust you, believe in you, have faith in you, think that you have good ideas to share, and want to support you. I think that helped me because it worked, and I gained more self-confidence. And throughout the program, we always work in team projects, and you are actually, they switch you in different teams. It helps you to get to know your entire cohort. You're not just, you know, working with the same people. I think they all helped me to build my confidence, and they, even today, I don't have it with me, but I have this cute note card from all my classmates from the cohort, because Tamara asked us to write a note to support the classmate, because down the road in 2 years upcoming, you're gonna face so many challenges, obstacles, you know, but those are the encouraging words that will support you, will help you to you know, to, I guess, just finish the program, you know.
Right.
Whether that will take you 2 years or 3 years. I remember many times I go back to this. I put them together so it's like a wall, colorful wall. They're encouraging words. They are, so everybody shared my quality. For example, you know, Enya, you're so inspiring. You should share your story. I admire you because blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so whenever I don't have confidence, I feel low, I go to that wall to find the old me, you know, that was me, that's still me. So I just need to find that part of me again, you know. So yeah, imposter syndrome, I think all of you probably, you might experience at the very beginning, especially, but my lesson, or what I want to share with you, is don't afraid to speak up, and everybody has something unique, special to share, regardless of your speaking second language, you're from different countries, your English might not as good as, you know, in native speakers, but that's fine, because it's all about your thoughts, you know, your ideas. Language is one thing, you know. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I'm going to tell you that my Mandarin's not nearly as good as yours. So really what it comes down to is what you said too, that we're all having a unique experience, you know, whether it was what Benjamin said or what you said, Enya, that each of us comes to these programs from a different culture, a different land, different experiences, different work experience, different educational experience, but it enriches the whole learning here because of those unique qualities. The nice part of teamwork too, we just came out of a team coaching session before you joined us. You know, the nice part of the teamwork at Royal Roads is that you can start to augment a really solid team by different personalities and experiences, and you bring and nurture those connections. So thank you for that. I'm going to share with you a little bit about how we keep our alumni connected. But while I'm doing that, we're going to come to the chat and to those of you here with us today. And I see there's a question for Ben that we'll start with right after. Ben didn't miss that question. Look, now he's like, oh, there's a question for me. Look, we're watching you, Ben. So please add your questions in there. You're welcome to ask Felix. He's taken the Master of Arts in Global Management, and again, the Master of Arts in Higher Education Administration and Leadership. I'm a graduate of an undergraduate program here, and as well the Master of Arts, or the Graduate Certificate in Leadership from the Master of Arts in Leadership program. So by all means, put your questions in there, but I'm going to share with you our screen, because what we do at Royal Roads and within Alumni Relations is we want to connect you to your colleagues across the globe internationally. We've created an online portal where our alumni can come and can share their businesses. We've got a business directory, so those that want to promote their businesses can do that here. You can learn more about what your alumni are doing. All of our events are within our event board. So virtual events and other events are here. You can actually take photos from today or from your programs and share and create folders of whatnot of alumni photos. And it's a great place for that to be a repository of those memories and connections. So here's some of the events. Here's the new alumni reception that we had. This is what you'll experience when you come to Royal Roads and you graduate. We have a reception for you. And so this is kind of that reception, faculty, connecting with your faculty, signing up to be a part of Connect. We create name tags for both you and your supporters that have got you through the program. So just a little taste of that component of the site. Mentoring. When you sign up after you've graduated from a program and when you're a student, you can go in here and you can search. Let's just see, Ben, Anya, I really hope you're here because I'm gonna search and see if you're here. Maybe. And we can find out who, if you look here, is willing to help. So anybody that says willing to help, I'm putting Ben Morgan in here because it might say Benjamin though. You can see that those that are here that have that willing to help are willing to connect with you and have you reach out to them as a student. Let's see, Enya, if you're here.
I should be. I remember signing up.
Maybe I'm putting, there you are.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Enya is willing to help. Thank you. So then the nice part of this is it's all populated from your LinkedIn. It's really easy for our alumni to have a site here to connect by video and schedule a connection and whatnot. So this is one way in which you can stay connected to other alumni across the globe. As a student, we also encourage students to get on to Connect because as you're looking for internships, you're looking for open doors, you can find out where alumni are in relation to you, what businesses they're working in, and how you can connect to them there. Now you know Enya works in higher education. If that's your area, she says she's willing to help. You can send her a message and find out more. So that's just a little bit about Connect. But Jen, I'm going to come to you as we go through the chat and have you ask these questions from the chat. So please put your questions in the chat and we'll address them in our next few minutes here together.
Yeah, thanks, Mehgan. So I think, Ben, this question is for you. Just a question with respect to this individual is wanting to take the professional communication master's or the Master of Arts in International and Intercultural Communication. Curious to know about how you made the decision to study professional communication among all of the different options. So why did you kind of go your route the way that you went?
Yeah, so this answer, Oyen, is going to sound like a little bit of a cop-out. I didn't know. I didn't know. And I was doing my first residency and I'm like, what are those people doing over there? That looks cool. And somebody said, oh, that's the intercultural communications group. And they get to go travel around the world and do cool stuff. And I went, what? That sounds cool. So the honest answer is I didn't know. That said, though, I think the outcome was the most beneficial for me with kind of the direction that I wanted to go and where I was headed in my personal and my professional career. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. And it's really, I think, because this is potentially your experience, you want it to resonate with you in which program you're drawn to. And so I would encourage you, have conversations with people. I'm open to it. I don't know if I'm on the fancy directory that says I'm willing to help, but I am. I can talk to you about the professional communications program, and then you might want to track down somebody that did the intercultural. And I guess for me, it would just be what seems to be in greater alignment with what your goals are. I had a little bit of a unique scenario in that. So I grew up as a paramedic, and paramedics here don't have degrees. Where it's a four years of education, but it's not a degree program. It's split up. So I didn't have a degree. And when I decided I wanted to make the switch, I actually applied and was accepted to the Bachelor of Arts of Communications at Royal Roads. And then I had a life event, #divorce. And I called the school and I said, look, I just got so much going on right now. I don't think I can start this program. And they said, no problem. We'll put your acceptance on hold. We'll see you next year. And somewhere in that year gap, I went to a career fair in Calgary, and a lot of booths, a bunch of booths with companies set up that were hiring, and Mount Royal University had a booth there. And I was having a conversation with a gal who was from the School of Communication at Mount Royal. And she said, geez, it sounds like you could teach this stuff. And I said, well, yeah, I love teaching. And she said, but you need a master's degree to teach at a university. And I said, I know. And she said, and I said, but I'm doing my bachelor's. And she said, well, why? And I said, because I don't have one. And she said, you don't need one. And she said to me, Royal Roads has a booth on the other side of the curtain. Go over there and talk to them. So I went around the corner, and the gentleman working the booth happened to be from the School of Communication Culture. We had a brief conversation. He gave me his card. He said, come meet me at the hotel tomorrow. I'll meet you at the Starbucks in the lobby. Let's have a conversation. And then a week later, I got a letter that said, hey, we took your acceptance to the Bachelor of Arts. We reassessed it, and we're thrilled to welcome you to the Master's. So I didn't even have that. I actually hadn't even looked or considered a Master of Arts Communications program. So I didn't even know about interculture and all that stuff. All I knew is that I was ready to make a switch from paramedic. I thought I needed a bachelor's degree, and I researched all the schools that seemed to make sense to do that. I chose Royal Roads for the bachelor, and somehow ended up in the master's program, and then somehow ended up being Megan's favorite alumni.
And mine too.
And Jen's
we can
favorite.
laugh at that, right? I just do want to share something though, because then you are on Connect. Here you are willing to help your
Oh, there we go.
alum that's in this room at the moment. Although you're not alone, we have other alumni here and we love you all. So yeah, Ben is willing to help, and you can find him on Railroads Connect once you become a student. So thank you, Ben. All right, now we have a few more minutes. Do we have any more questions for our alumni here?
Not yet. I mean, certainly, is there any other questions that you guys would like to ask of our panelists, and get their real experience? I've certainly from experience had opportunities to see students actually have one-on-one conversations with alum, and we're on the fence, I'm not totally sure, and then just actually having that conversation with them really solidified, yes, this is totally what I want to do, and they can really share with you, their firsthand experience. I do see though that there's a question from Terry. So Terry says, if you consider other schools, oops, where'd my chat go? One moment, please. If you considered other schools, what was the deciding factor for Royal Roads? So maybe Enya, will start with yourself.
I think for me, is the blended program structure worked for me because I was working full time. I couldn't, take a program that I have to be away from work. I can't quit my job. So, and the other very attractive part of the program, I think, is the residence 1 and 2, and I get to spend. I think the first part of residence, it was 2 weeks that I had enough time, quality time to get to know my professors, my cohort, who, I will spend the rest of 2 years with them. So that was very important for me because I need the in-person contact, rather than right now, everything is virtual. And I think that was the biggest selling point, to be honest. It's a structure. I really liked it, and it worked perfectly for me.
That's so across lots of alum who share that is those connections that they form in their cohort are often those lifelong friendships that they still rely on throughout their career. They'll go to different people within their cohort to say, hey, I have this situation, what do you think, right? And so having those cohorts and actually coming and meeting people in person to then go online is really, I think, sets up sets everybody up for success, largely. Yeah, great question.
Yeah.
Now I see another quick question here from Mohammed. How practically alumni are helping newcomers? So I guess, Mohammed, just your question is specifically seeing, how are alumni helping specifically? So I think Mehgan alluded to that a little bit, just with respect to mentorship. So having the opportunity to get connected, the students on the platform, to have and make those connections with alumni who are working in their field that students would want to ultimately get to work to, I think is really important. And I don't know, in terms of Ben or any of you guys wanted to jump in to comment.
Ben probably has some examples of how he's helped other students too. And I can share just that in my experience, we've had alumni open doors to their organizations. Alumni send, like your question went on to job search, career growth, Mohammed, and we have alumni because of the Railroads Connect. They share their job hunts from their organizations because they want more RRUM alumni in the organization. Just yesterday, we had a panel last week on women in leadership with 5 of our alumni who are in C-suite level kind of positions. And one of those individuals said, we're hiring, I think what was the job title? The fun title was optimist or something like this, the eternal optimist, but organizational optimist. And so she wanted to make sure we got it posted because in her organization, she's vice president of marketing and communications. She wants to work with more RRU alumni because of the way in which the programs come together and are designed for you to get more than just, as Ben said, regurgitation is not railroads. We want you to learn to think critically and be able to use that critical thinking to say more than I don't agree. You can't get away with just saying I don't agree at railroads. You need to articulate why you don't agree and come up with solutions and other orientations of that. And those are skills that don't come from a textbook. And so working with other alumni, obviously, I'm fortunate here to be able to hire people at railroads that are graduates and to be able to work with you. But all of our alumni do the same. They do share and want to encourage other graduates to come on. So another question, I think, for you, Jen.
Oh, thank you. I found the title. It was a fantastic orchestrator of awesomeness. How awesome it is.
Isn't that a great title?
How awesome is that? Anyways, I thoroughly enjoyed that. So the question is can you connect people at Railroads Connect if you're an applicant or just till you're accepted? I'd like to contact someone who took the MEM program.
Yeah.
So yeah, for sure. So the Railroads Connect is just specific to students and alumni, but that said, certainly we'd be happy to get you in touch with, and perhaps my colleague, Emera, can just make a note of your name and we could, connect you to someone who took the MEM program, certainly, and have that opportunity for those connections because they're so important for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If I can jump in, I can share the experience and answer the two or three questions as well. I actually, was that yesterday? Yesterday, I received a message on LinkedIn. It was a peer coworker who I met once, who's also working in higher education. She knows that I graduated from the master program from Roy Rose, and she wants to get a master program as well, but she wasn't sure which specific program. There are 2 programs that are, they have shared courses, they're similar. And then I had a conversation with her a few months ago, last year. And yesterday she sent me a message saying, Enya, I got admitted. I'm going to start my program this week. So absolutely, please reach out to Mehgan or Jennifer. They are going to connect you with someone graduate from that program. You can learn, from their experience and make sure that is the program that you think will be beneficial the most, you're interested in the most. I think it's very valuable, and people want to share their experience, want to tell you about their experience and share some tips and tricks in the program as well. And I also remember when I started this the program, I learned from my coworker who told me that, you should talk to so and so from this institution. She's also taking this program from Roy Rose. And then I reached out to her and I learned a lot of tips and tricks to navigate this program as I go through. So I highly encourage you to please reach out. And I think I try to do my best. I always join the Railroads alumni events or, networking like this because we want to help you. Yeah, please
Thanks
reach out.
so much, Enya. I'm just cognizant of our time because I know we're actually going to go into our another session. So for those that would like to participate still, we have another session at 1:15 with some of our undergraduate alumni. And so before we just quickly end the session, I just want to thank Enya so much. And Ben, thank you so much for sharing your opinions and your thoughts about railroads. And we're just so appreciative of your time that you've taken today. So Mehgan, I don't know if you have any other parting words that you want to.
Well, I'm just grateful, one, like Jen said, for your participation today. When we get these requests for alumni, we come to those that we connect with. And these two are people who have stayed connected. It's hard to sometimes choose because we have so many alumni that keep in contact with us. And so we're really grateful for you for stepping in today. This next session that we're going to be hosting, and I'm fortunate to have my two brothers actually are joining the session, because in my family, there's 4 of us that are graduates of Railroads. And so Portia Zafrani is joining us. She's a graduate of our program. I've also invited my brother Tyson Knopf, who's here, and brother Bryn Knopf, who's here as well. There's Portia. So I'm just going to add them, and we can kind of make this connection between the 2 sessions so everybody can see. But yes, I think that we're an example of a family that started. Bryn in the bottom there. Bryn just shut off his camera. He was the first one at Railroads to come to Railroads in our family. And I still remember this day getting the call from him that said, Mehgan, you need to look at Railroads because this is how you need to learn. Like, you just need to come. And so I don't think it was too far after that I got on in the car, because we're from the Okanagan, drove down to Railroads and met Bryn in the program. He was taking a Bachelor of Commerce and Entrepreneurship, just like Portia and Tyson, and sat in a class. The university gave me the opportunity to sit in a class. I had been out of school for a number of years at that point. I was 27 and thinking, oh, maybe I'll never get my degree done, like many of you perhaps. And just having that experience has changed our life. And then obviously, then Tyson had to hear from Bryn and I. And then Kalia, the youngest that's come through the Bachelor of Communication program, she had to hear from all 3 of us. So we're grateful for that opportunity, and I'm grateful for all of you being here today. So with that, we'll give everybody a quick bio break. We've got 2 minutes until we start the next session. Thank you to Enya and Ben. We really appreciate you being here and sharing your experiences in the graduate programs, and to Felix as well for your experience in the graduate program. And we welcome to Portia, Bryn, and Tyson. So we'll just shut off our cameras for a couple minutes, and then we'll return here at sharp at 1:15, and Jen will welcome us in again. All right.
Thanks
Thank
so
you,
much,
guys.
Jennifer.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks, guys.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Ben. You are still our favorite. Don't you worry.
Love you long time.
All right, I'll just shut off our camera for a minute, and we'll be right back.